Hey guys, it's Craig at Area 419. I want to take just a second to show you how I like to set up bullet seating and full length sizing, because like Eric Cortina would tell you, neck sizing's for dummies. I like to set up these dies inside a zero turret. The first one I'm going to show you is obviously the simpler one to set up, and that is a bullet seating die, micrometer head. I've got a lot of the Redding micrometer dies. The micrometer die from Mark at Short Action Customs is really nice. I really suggest the micrometer dies just because of how simple to use they are. They're easy to adjust. They're really repeatable, so I suggest these for you. Anyway, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to thread it all the way into the press to the last point that my micrometer reading is out front. I want to be able to see it, but as deep as I can while maintaining full thread engagement with the die ring. I want to go as deep as I can because that's going to put you in a place on the ram stroke that has a little bit less leverage. I want less leverage with my seating die because it gives me greater feel. So once I have this screwed all the way down, I'm going to put the handle down and get the ram up. I want pressure against my dies while I tighten them. So I've got it down as far as it will go, maintaining full thread engagement with the die ring. I've got my micrometer adjustment out in front. So now all that's left to do is tighten that die ring, snug it up. This thing's all set. Real simple to set up. Now I want to talk about sizing dies. Again, I'm a full length sizer guy. I think that neck sizing for nearly all applications is really just a waste of time. You're going to frustrate yourself. You're going to get inconsistent loads over time because eventually you have to full length size. So why not do it every time? Anyway, I'm going to indicate to the station that I want to be in. I'm going to lock the press in and we can get started. When I'm threading in a sizing die, instead of threading it in then raising the ram, I'm going to raise the ram and then thread in the sizing die until the bottom of the die makes contact with the top of the shell holder. At that point, I'm going to raise the handle so the ram goes down. I'm going to thread the die in a little less than a quarter turn, about a quarter turn, and make sure that I've got positive contact between the top of the shell holder and the die. With a zero, this means you'll get just a little bit of player rebound. That's a little less than I like to feel, so I'm going to go ahead and bring that in another about 1/8 of an inch or so. So I've got a nice rebound, and if you've got a zero press, you'll understand what that is. When we designed the press, we've got curved arms here that creates a little bit of a shock absorbing effect, kind of like the leaf springs in your car, and that keeps you from transmitting a huge amount of force into the press unnecessarily. With a 4-bar linkage system like we have here, when you're at the bottom of the stroke, the mechanical advantage that you have on the handle is enormous. So instead of you pushing, getting to the bottom, cranking on it, driving that pressure in, and potentially shortening the life cycle of the machine, we gave you a little bit of a buffer. So if you got a zero, you'll feel what we're talking about, but I feel that you should do the same thing on any other press, be it a T7 or a rock chucker, your more traditional thread-in die types. Coax, totally different. Lots of videos on how to set up with one of those, but this is how I like doing it with a ram press. Anyway, now that that's down, we've got positive contact. All that's left to do for me is tighten that die. I personally adjust the shoulder bump of my cases using the shell holder. I use the Redding competition shell holders. They're available in shoulder bump differences from 0 to 10 thousandths. So when I'm at 0, I'm getting the most shoulder bump out of the die, typically with a die that's going to be more bump than I want. So if I'm getting, let's say, 8 thousandths and I want to get to 2 thousandths, I'll use the -6 thousandths shell holder, meaning I'm taking 6 thousandths of shoulder bump away. That'll get me right to that 2 thou number. It's very consistent, very repeatable. I'm always getting contact between the top of the shell holder and the bottom of the die, and that gives me really consistent timing or sizing time after time, especially using the zero. So guys, if you have any more questions, drop them in the comments below. Thanks for stopping by, and until next time.